That's right. You are about to enter the Propaganda Report with Brad Binkley. This is the Propaganda Report with Brad Binkley. If my video is glitchy, I have to say the most likely reason is due to my retardation. And there's nothing I can do to fix it if that's the case right now. But the audio should be okay. And you guys can let me know in the chats if there's a problem with the audio. If the audio is not okay, then you're going to see something very, very disturbing happen on the stream right now, because I'm going to end it all if the technological issues are brought. But with that said, because there is so much hope in the world, are the things we see real? The things on social media, the things out in the real world, the Waymos, the Chinese sex police dolls giving out traffic tickets. They should be policing Waymos. No human involved. Is any of that real, or are we witnessing shadows in a cave? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I have a special guest. This is a special show because I've done a couple of shows with guests in studio that the audio has been terrible. The video has been okay. This is the first one where I think the audio is okay and the video is weird. Hopefully it's not completely weird. We will get the technical glitches worked out, but you guys give me the info in the chat about what you guys are seeing and hearing so I can try and fix it as we are on the way. But I want to welcome our guest onto the show. I'm going to try my new thing here, see if this works, hopefully. And there we both are. Kimberly Hamilton, welcome to the show. You're an actress, a yoga instructor, a comedian. Tell everyone just a little bit about you.
A little bit, okay. I was born on a cold October.
That's right.
Yeah, so I am an actor, filmmaker, writer. I love comedy. It's probably my favorite genre.
Standard selected.
Fitness. I teach Pilates, meditation, Tai Chi, kids ballet. I love philosophy. So I love to chat about the allegory of the cave.
Yes, the allegory of the cave. And we got to talking about that. Can you guys hear everybody's audio now?
Oh, can you hear me?
Good evening, Mr. Good evening, Mr. Blastoff and Kim from the Grubinator.
Good evening,
to see you,
Mr. Blastoff.
I'm Johnny Blastoff, my character name. Yeah.
Okay.
From Astronaut University. So the audio is good. Now the audio is perfect. Great. Thank you very much. We do appreciate that. I think I had you muted at first. That was my fault. But yeah. So I met Kim and we got to talking, and she was talking about, she'd made a video that I saw about the allegory of the cave. And I was like, you're an actress and you enjoy philosophy, which is like a rare combination to me. And so I started thinking about what you said in the video, and I used to love reading Plato. It was one of those things where it was, if I felt I wasn't thinking right, or if I needed like creative inspiration, I would go read philosophy, usually Plato. And that was, or is, one of my favorites because it's kind of mind expanding. I didn't get that in school until I was much older. I had to start reading that. And so to hear someone else talk about it that is in the same industry, which I literally never hear, I would have a conversation with you about it because it seems so relevant in the world today. And let me play, just before we get into this discussion, I want to play a short clip of a video that Kim made on her YouTube and Instagram page. I encourage you guys to follow her. Let me share this on screen. What's going on? I can't see the screen as well as usual. So if I don't hit y'all's names correctly, forgive me. All right. So check this out on screen. You can put the headphones on if you want to listen to it also, Kim. Okay. Here is, so I used to make these videos where I did these fake interviews, and it's like a solo project. This is similar with what Kim's doing here. And she totally unbiased news video that she posted recently.
I'm Kimberly, this is Melania, and this is Totally Unbiased News, the program committed to fairness, balance, and pretending tone doesn't matter. Tonight's headlines include global politics, pop culture scandals, lunar events, and the annual New Year tradition of pretending this time will be different. Americans welcome the new year with traditional rituals, fireworks, champagne, vague promises to be better, and deleting gym memberships by January 12th. Popular traditions this year included eating grapes at midnight, wearing lucky underwear, and announcing, "This is my year." A phrase experts say has no measurable effect but feels productive.
In my country, we simply drink wine and lower expectations.
That does seem sustainable.
So you guys should check that out. Tell people where to check out your YouTube page.
That particular playlist is on Kimberly Hamilton Actress. So if you just go on YouTube, type Kimberly Hamilton Actress. I have a series of unbiased news little segments. And I just do those because it's my way of sort of processing all this conflicting information and laughing about it. And I just think it's funny how so many news outlets, they're claiming to be biased when it's pretty obvious, or they're claiming to be unbiased when it's pretty obvious that they are biased. So it's kind of easy to make fun of that.
Do you feel that is dangerous in the entertainment community? Because being neutral and analyzing both sides like that can be seen as a traitor for some people.
Yes, I think that in the film industry, there's one person who doesn't completely agree with every left idea, and they kind of get looked at funny, which is basically what happens in Plato's cave.
Yeah, so Plato's cave, I'll give my brief summary, then you can add details, which I'm sure will be much better. But I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. The idea is imagine, I don't even know what that is. All I know is it starts with imagine. That's all I know. It's a bunch of people in society who are chained to a wall with their arms, their legs, and their neck, and their heads can't turn left or right, and they're fixated on this wall that has all these images that appear to be reality to them. It has shapes of people and animals and dramas going on, and it's the only thing that they've ever known. And what they are is their shadows on the wall, and they don't know that until one of them is released, and he goes out and he starts to see the light. And the light is blinding because it creates this ontological shock that shatters the whole reality that this person has thought that they have lived in. And once they find this wisdom, this person goes back down into the cave and tries to tell all the cave dwellers who are still trapped about the truth. And basically, the idea is that you're going to get killed if you do that. And to put it in short, explain it how you view it.
Yeah, so so Plato was a student of Socrates, and this whole allegory came about over 2,000 years ago, if you don't know. And then Plato actually taught Aristotle. But so he says, imagine if people were chained to only face one direction, and like you said, the fire behind it, people are walking behind the fire. So just imagine for a second, if you've never heard this story, I invite you to imagine for a second, if you're chained into a cave and you're looking at a wall, right? And you see shadows in front of your face, naturally you're going to assume what? That's reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we can't blame them for assuming that's reality.
It's the only thing they've ever known.
Yeah, and the people walking behind them, they're holding little objects. They're walking behind them, and all the people chained up are seeing is this one particular reality. And then someone breaks out of the cave, and then the person who breaks out of the cave, at first the light is very blinding. It's like painful. It's like,
Right.
oh,
What? Yeah.
this is like shattering my
It's cognitive dissonance.
Yes, cognitive dissonance. And this person comes back after processing the cognitive dissonance and tries to explain to everyone in the cave, I've seen the light, literally. And everyone makes fun of this person and shuns them and tells them you're wrong. because, it's difficult to imagine a world if your entire life you thought reality was one thing, and then someone tells you, nope, reality is something different. That can be hard. That can be a hard pill to swallow. So
Right. And so that when people get confronted with that, sorry if I'm going back and forth. I'm getting data for about this program and whether the audio is going in and out or whether it's correct. But that's a difficult thing is going back into, if you do discover something that might not be true, telling people who still believe the thing to be true because of the reaction that you can get.
right.
And what the incentive. So in Plato's cave, and you described it much better than I did, where it's they're carrying the things behind the fire. So it makes me think of it. All right, what are the images, the shadows? Who are the people carrying it, and who are the people projecting fire? Why are they doing it? And is there incentive for people to come out? Do they want to come out of it? Are they comfortable in this ignorance? And what incentives are there when someone who does come out? I just keep saying come out. Like we're going to be coming out today. They come back and they tell people things, but I think it's hard to, when you discover something,
Yeah.
that's like, holy shit, I have to tell people about this. Mm-hmm. Recognizing how it feels when you firmly believe something and then the thing you're just told shatters this like strongly held belief and the reactions that we're conditioned to have, which is verbally violent, sometimes physically violent. What do you think about, is there a responsibility for people who believe themselves out of the cave to inform those that are within?
Yeah, that's a great question. What responsibility do you have to tell the people in the cave that there is a whole other reality, that their whole worldview isn't what they think it is? And I think you do have a responsibility. If you care about the people in the cave, if you don't care, you don't have to. I mean, you could just enjoy the light for yourself and like point at them and be like, ha ha, I know the truth and you don't. But if you actually care about the people in the cave, I think you should at least try. Maybe, I think presenting the light in a gentle, delicate
Hey, fag, listen up, you retard. You shouldn't, yeah.
Instead of just like ripping off the Band-Aid, maybe slowly ripping it off. Just kind of like maybe inviting people to sort of like dip their toe out of the cave and maybe not completely come out of the cave all the way.
So do you have a strategy for like approaching, analyzing information and having conversations with people about it?
And then I will try to research that topic from multiple perspectives. And even if I have a belief that I think is probably true, I still want to understand the opposing view. I still want to understand all the opposing views. So I don't know. I like to have a well-rounded perspective. And the thing that I appreciate about Plato's cave is that Plato isn't saying like the people in the cave are dumb. They're not dumb. They're just lacking perspective, right? So I don't want to be that person that's lacking perspective. So I try to have a broad range of perspectives. And yeah, and then if anybody wants to talk to me about anything, I'm happy to talk about whatever. And the other thing is I think it's important when it comes to like politics, especially, there is a tendency, especially nowadays, to identify with politics so much that it becomes your identity. So like if you disagreed with me on like a political issue, if I were to take that personally,
you'd hate me.
That's silly, right? Because it's like I'm my own person.
But that seems to be the standard reaction.
Right. The standard is no, my politics are my identity, right? It's hard for us to see ourselves outside of our political view, which I don't know if that's a healthy mentality.
That's so the Bolsheviks, and it's not just the Bolsheviks that use that strategy. It's they all use the same manipulation tactics, but that's just kind of what it's attributed to. is the strategy of politicizing everything in society so that everything can be a lever of division.
Yeah.
And I feel like, at least, maybe sometimes I'm like, did I just not pay as much attention as a kid? Like when I'm 5, am I not like, the fucking news, or is it just it's progressed more because of technology where it's so easy to make the most minute things political, and a symbol of if somebody believes one thing or buys one product or another, that is the symbol of the other, and that makes it so easy to divide and conquer. And like you said, like the reaction of just getting upset is, what are you getting upset about? And I get it, because I totally you can feel it within you when people disagree about things, because we associate our beliefs with who we are, and our pride gets in the way. But the reality is, who cares when it comes to most things about? I get some things, religion, otherwise values, deeply held values. I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about just the surface level stuff that's used to divide us. Who cares if you're right or wrong about a story?
Yeah, I think whenever I'm engaging in conversation, I engage with the intent to understand, and I'm more interested in clarity than I am in being right. Like
Right.
I'm okay with, if I think one thing and you tell me actually it's this way, I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with like being wrong.
You don't stop talking to the person for 6 months.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like freak out because I don't wrap my entire identity on just political views. I think there's more to who we are than just politics. I think there's a little more to us than that. So,
have you had situations where people have gotten upset about disagreeing with them?
oh yeah. Well, it's not like I was even disagreeing. I was just asking questions. I've had situations where I've asked questions. It's not like I was even saying, I think you're wrong. I was just asking, like, well, why do you think that? Where are you getting that information from? How do you know?
The Socratic method.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I go about. I guess I am. I align.
How do they respond when you ask them those questions? Like I'm somebody who, let's pick a subject. What's a strong belief you have that I can just get really mad about? It can be something, and have to be heavy.
That we should stay hydrated.
Oh, you fucking right-wing Nazi. No, we're not staying hydrated. That's just what Trump wants to do to try and artificially pump up the economy. This is bullshit. This is exactly what he wants.
Okay, so what makes you think that?
What?
What makes you think that's what?
It's true. I've seen it everywhere.
Where have you seen it?
I've seen it on. Everybody's talking about it. I've seen it. It's fucking true. Just look it up.
Look it up where?
Online.
Online. Okay. So, how do you know what sources to trust online?
Just look. You've gone really right wing.
So
I'm
Yeah,
exaggerating, but
yeah.
But those glitches that I'm having are the cognitive dissonance,
Right,
from the questions. And I find myself talking to you the other day, like I used to like pride myself in asking questions like that, but it can get so like you hear the same stuff that you almost forget to kind of raise these important points. And I don't think I've ever been in a situation where asking those questions has at the very least not made somebody go
glitch. Yeah, it's like they're glitching. Like,
yeah,
what?
Because it's something they haven't thought about.
Right.
And then I think about things I haven't thought about.
Yeah.
And have you had situations where doing that, we're having that conversation, it does open people up to
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like everyone has that knee-jerk, overly emotional reaction. I mean, some people are comfortable explaining why they believe what they believe. So it's
Yeah, no, I'm looking at notes on the audio. We have some comments we're gonna get to, but I'm just kind of
Brad's on top
monitoring
of
them.
it.
Yeah. So what happened at first, since you're being patient with me to work out the technical glitches, is I learned in real time why your audio would get muted occasionally, thanks to the feedback from viewers, and I did fix that problem. So I'm still trying to level the audio out. So I do, as you know, we're not Jim Acosta, we're not Tucker Carlson. It's the two of us in here. There's no 18 people behind the camera. And we appreciate your feedback. We're the real deal in here.
I mean, how do you know though? I mean, I could be an AI operated by Tucker Carlson.
Wait, what?
I could be AI. I mean, there's no way to prove or disprove it.
Now I don't even know what Socrates would do with that. What it's like uncanny valley. You familiar with that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Or the dead internet theory?
The dead internet theory?
Mhm.
No, tell me more.
The dead internet theory is where we reach a point in time where most of the interactions you're having online are with bots. You think they're real people?
Oh, I think that's already like kind of happening. Half the time when I get messages, I'm pretty sure like at least half of them are bots. like random
I just
messages.
have a lot of Asian women who think I'm smart.
Yeah, I mean, I get all these messages like from these are clearly bots when they're like really hot looking women and they're like, "Hey, wanna," and it's like all this vulgar stuff. I'm like, clearly that's a bot.
Wait, this is a bot?
And sometimes I get comments on my YouTube videos and I question if those are bots.
Oh, there's definitely some bot activity
Yeah.
going on in the comments.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes even in the chats, you'll get like spam stuff.
Right, yeah.
Just like on your phone. And it's crazy because I used to think, yeah, that's a little bit far off. But the past year or so, I've started looking at, because I've noticed, so I am critical not just of Candace Owens, but also of TPUSA. So I've been critical of them for many, many years. The only thing that has changed is the focus on them around this subject. And for doing the same thing I've always done, which is both of them I've called grifters literally for like 6 years, because that's what I do. I am now, when I call one a grifter, I'm an anti-Semite. When I call the other, I'm a paid shill for Israel, who believes the narrative. As though you can't criticizing one person makes you in allegiance with their enemy. It's so stupid, and it stupefies thinking. And so I started looking at some of the comments I got, because I would get similar comments from people on YouTube and on X where it was like, "I've listened to you for so long. I don't know what's happened to you." And like literally right before that, I had posted like Cash Patel, the reason he can't find the Epstein files is because they're in the only place he can't see, which is right in front of his face, because he's like watching two fireworks go in opposite directions at the same time. All I do is mock them. And so I was like, this person obviously isn't familiar with me. And then I saw that kind of consistent pattern of it. And so I started looking at their accounts and looking at the replies and seeing that most of the accounts are new. Some of them appear to be bought. And because you can sell your account on X. And they just, all the replies are the same thing.
The exact same verbatim.
Like oftentimes. And that's it. If you want to do something fun, whenever you hear something, I would say 3 times in the media, the same kind of phraseology, go to whatever platform you're on. I use X, and just put it in quotes in the search bar and just look at the replies, the latest ones, hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And so it's like put out there. That doesn't mean some people aren't saying them authentically, but the bot activity is definitely there.
Yeah.
And then I started looking up, you can buy bots that they offer personalized bots and shit where they can be like, it'll be a real reply, and it's kind of retarded reply.
Oh yeah.
But you can't tell though, some
Yeah.
people can't.
I keep getting these ads. I don't know why, but they keep popping up on my algorithm for some reason about AI boyfriend. And are you looking for an AI boyfriend? And basically it's like this guy that looks like a cross between, I don't know, like Brad Pitt and I don't know, name some popular actor, Ryan Gosling. Okay. It's like if Brad Pitt
Jack
and Ryan
Black.
Gosling had a, yeah.
And
And then,
baby? Wow. Now I'm a little turned on.
and yeah, and it's like this clearly like a bot being like, "Oh, hey baby. I just want to listen to you and apologize." And it's just like who would actually want that type of fake connection? Because
Yeah.
clearly this bot is just telling you things that aren't even real. Like why would anybody want, like it's sad to me. Like have you seen the movie Her
No,
with Joaquin Phoenix?
I don't think so.
It's a really good movie. It's like before even AI became like a big crazy thing that it's becoming now. But yeah, it's about a man who has a relationship with his operating system. And
Yeah,
it's kind of sad. It's because it's like, okay, it's the question, would you rather be fooled by a lie and be happy, or would you rather be told the truth and be sad? And I mean, I would rather be told the truth, because if my happiness is based on a lie, that's not real happiness. It's based on a lie. So I wouldn't want an AI boyfriend, like, just telling me things. Like, I would want somebody who challenges me, like a real person. Anyway.
So you don't think the AI boyfriend it's a little bit predictable?
Or AI girlfriend. I mean, then listen, AI girlfriend, AI boyfriend, sex robots, like, I mean, that whole thing, I feel like it's a symptom of a very sick and lonely society. Yeah.
You don't think that's good to have sex robots? When I saw the Chinese, they're giving out tickets in China, these robots are, I'm like, that looks like the sex doll got a second job. Because like, I bought this thing to have sex with, it's working all day, pulling Waymos over.
Yeah.
And so they have, it is the isolation that people feel in large part because of, I don't know why people go to it. There, you can argue different reasons. COVID was a big part of it, but people can go in these holes on the internet, and they can find maybe what they're looking for there, which leads to sex bots, and then leads to people literally having marriages too. So have you seen any of these?
Yeah, people are marrying their operating system, or they're marrying the AI bot.
I'm like, it's better not bitch you were going to marry. You guys were not going to make it. This one will last 10 years at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's
weird though.
I don't know. I think it would take a very specific type of personality to want that instead of a real human being. I mean, I understand it's probably easier. It's probably like, are people just lazy? People not want to like do the work of like real human relationships? Like, I don't know.
Well, so that's part of it. I mean, part of it is people have these the online world has caused people to create these fake realities about themselves, which I think people are creating their own shadows on the wall.
Yeah.
And you see catfishing, but people see these standards, and then people post all these pictures like they're having the best life in the world on Instagram, and a lot of it's just fake, but it makes other people depressed, and make comparison to others based on really an arbitrary standard is demoralizing for people, based on what they're told, how they're supposed to live when they grow up. And I think that it's like that's kind of a mechanism of control for those empowered. You can propagate this ideal way to be, and kind of an unattainable ideal that can demoralize people and make them inactive.
Yeah. And substitute human thought for AI thought. Substitute actual like human interaction for something operated by technology. And I mean, yeah, I definitely.
Have you ever talked to one of these bots and like felt like it was like not weird?
Well, I mean, I have tested, like when Grok first emerged, I just started asking it like, do you have a consciousness? Do you believe in God? Like just, existential kind of questions. Like, do you think you could ever fall in love with me? Well, how would you feel if I like testing to see how human it could actually
What did it say?
Yeah, I mean the same response.
I hate when it uses my name. Like, fuck you.
It's creepy. It's same response. Like, I am a computer operating system. I can't feel feelings like humans can, but I can say this. But going back to what you said about like social media and the way the powers that be are controlling social media to manipulate our minds into having all these fears and anxieties and insecurities, and also like the trends where women, especially for whatever reason, the whole like filter, the whole like Instagram filter, it started with a filter, and now it's become like, let's replace our real pictures with AI bots.
Right.
And these stupid trends, they drive me crazy, where it's like, oh, look, I'm trendy. It's my face on an AI body, but it's not totally my face. It's like a little alter to, it's creepy. Like it really creeps me out.
Yeah, I don't use, I haven't used any of those online dating apps for many, many years, but I just wonder what it's like when people meet in person, because nobody's representing themselves even close to reality.
No.
Have you ever seen those videos where it'll look like a crackhead off the street, a chick, and then she'll be like, my makeup routine, and it's like, oh, she's so hot. Yeah, how did she do that?
Yeah. It's all fake, and it also kind of reminds me of this other film. Did you ever see this movie called Surrogates?
Yep, Bruce Willis.
With Bruce Willis, yeah, and basically, the real humans are controlling their own personal robots, and
you're sitting on a couch, right?
Yeah, and then they've evolved to a point where it's so hard to have any real human interaction that their robots are like doing their jobs for them, and their real bodies are just laying there on a couch, vegetating.
Right.
You know, while their surrogates go out and like do all this other stuff. And,
living life. I bring up improv a lot, which I know improv is very gay. I admit that, but also it's something I know you've done a lot of improv. It's getting in the moment, and you do yoga too, helping people get in the moment. I think with technology, and we're all connected all the time, I find myself, just put your phone down and just look at what's right in front of you. What are your thoughts on just the control that technology has over our minds, and the solution that you offer people for it, actually?
Well, I don't pretend to have all the solutions by any means, but I do know that practices like eating healthy, having a healthy mind can help you think clearly and critically. When you're glued to technology too much, everything online is pretty much designed to create stress and anxiety and fear and this sense of helplessness. But when you take a break from technology, and when you can practice things like breath work, meditation, and yoga, especially meditation, when you're just sitting still with your thoughts. This is something I teach. We're so overly stimulated by our cell phones and technology. It's difficult for the average American citizen to sit still with their thoughts and confront these difficult questions.
Yeah, so I was going to say, why is that?
Yeah, it's difficult because we've probably repressed all these fears or these questions or something in our psyche that we're afraid to confront. Whether that's, we're all going to die soon, like nobody wants to think about how like our existence is temporary. We're all going to die soon. What's going to happen to us when we die? That can be a hard question for a lot of us.
As you get older too, as you know, I'm getting a little older, and that's something I think about a lot more than I used to. And it's like I think about, wow, how much time have I allowed technology to rob me? While bouncing, I've met a lot of cool people doing stuff, but also I just doom scrolled for 30 minutes. I just spent an hour trying to get ChatGPT to say the hard R so that I could cancel it.
Yeah.
And it's so it's like you're halfway in and out of the cave, It's like you're an awareness of it, but what is it one cave to another cave, or is it just endless caves within caves?
Yeah, I mean, that could very well be. It could be that like there's a cave within a cave within a cave within a cave. Yeah, but going back, to what you're saying about, if technology, I'm not like against technology. I don't think like, oh, technology is all evil or anything. I think that if we use technology as a tool, in moderation, it can be helpful. But as far as like finding kind of relief from the cognitive dissonance you're talking about. So many of us deal with cognitive dissonance when we're confronted with a different opinion. It's like, oh, I don't know how to handle this. So meditation can actually help you sit with that cognitive dissonance and sit with those uncomfortable feelings of boredom, restlessness. Wait, there's nothing stimulating me. And if you practice meditation and yoga long enough, you'll start to sort of gain this this sense of awareness. You'll start to notice your thoughts sort of slow down, and there'll be a little bit more space between your thoughts and your actions. So I think Viktor Frankl had this quote, like, between stimulus and response, there's a choice, and in that choice lies our freedom.
That's a great quote.
Yeah. So
And that's everything propaganda seeks to sever.
yeah.
Is they want to snuff out that brief moment where you think and decide, and they want to trigger you emotionally, and they want to decide for you.
Yeah, so you don't have the freedom to make your own choices and think critically and have a fully informed decision. Exactly. Like I don't think any of the higher ups want us to be too smart.
No, yeah, I completely agree. It's why would you if you're trying to control the world
Yeah.
and you have these masses of people? And for me, the public education system, it teaches people to kind of fall in line while they go to these kind of elite schools, which teaches them to organize people. And then all the propagandists are, you overwhelm them with the agenda and the narrative that you want, the framing of it, which is, it's like the shadows in the caves, the shadows in the wall. As you mentioned, you said it very eloquently in the emails that we spoke back and forth about what, like the mainstream media and all the news sources people have.
Yeah, I feel like the fire and the people carrying the shapes, that's a metaphor for corporations, algorithms, social media, news outlets, all of that. Those are the people carrying the shapes. That's the fire. That's the tools of deception. Yeah, that's what's creating the frames. And we can only see the shadows on the wall. So we're creating narratives based on our limited perceptions. And yeah, it can be scary to step out of the cave and to question, like, wait, maybe there's a different reality going on that I hadn't thought about. It can be scary, but it can also be very liberating and freeing.
Well, do you have a moment that you remember being freed from maybe a previous belief that you had?
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. I guess the first one I mentioned it to you the other day was when I was like 11. I think I was like 10 or 11.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
I was just reading the Bible and I was like, I don't know if I believe in everything in the Bible. I mean, I guess if you interpret it metaphorically, maybe. But I had some sort of revelation about like questioning the Bible when I was like 10 or 11. And yeah, I'm trying to think of a recent example of when I my worldview was sort of like shattered.
You're 10 and 11. That's what was funny to me is you were talking about reading the Bible at 10 or 11 and you had this epiphany and I'm just like, I don't think I knew what that word meant at 10.
Epiphany. Well, yeah, I just had this, epiphany, this thought like, oh wait, I don't really necessarily buy into all of this 100%. Like, yeah, and that sort of got me curious about, okay, what is really the meaning of life? And it's a never-ending sort of journey, and I don't pretend to have figured everything out.
Isn't that? I mean, is it for me? I'm like, it's kind of a relief not to have everything figured out or have an answer all the time.
Yes, it is, because I think so many of us, and I'm guilty of this too, it's like we crave certainty, we crave knowledge because it makes us feel secure and it makes us feel like we have some control. But I honestly think control is more of an illusion than anything else.
Do you think we have free will?
I mean, that's a great question. I've talked to people about this before, and I can kind of see both arguments. I feel like if we are just chemical compounds, and if you think about causality and how everything is just a result of everything that happened before it, in that sense, maybe we don't have free will. There's no way we can prove that we have free will, but it certainly feels like we have free will.
Right.
So I operate in the world as if I have free will.
Of course.
Because otherwise, what would you do all day?
Yeah. That's interesting, though. One of the propaganda objectives in all the literature. So they have these books that they wrote, like Edward Bernays and Harold Laswell, and Hitler in his book. People say don't read Hitler's book, but like Hitler praises the British and the Americans' World War I propaganda, and he just bashes the Germany propaganda, and so does everybody else. And he modeled Edward Bernays, who is Freud's nephew, and was like a advisor to
Public
for
relations.
50 years.
Yeah.
He created that term when propaganda got a bad connotation. And it's called Crystallizing Public Opinion. I encourage everybody to read it because it's better than his book Propaganda. But he starts off by explaining why we're going to call it public relations now, because people see propaganda as bad. So it's always funny when I remember my niece when she was in college. I was like, and she had some of her friends over at the house, and I was like, "What do you guys study?" And they're like, "Public relations." I was like, "Have you heard of Edward Bernays?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, you're not really studying. You know what you're studying."
He's like known as the founder, I think, of that term, right?
Yeah, no, he created. He literally
Coined the
did
term.
he did a propaganda campaign to rebrand propaganda as public relations. So it could be something the you could sell to companies, and he's very good at that. And so they wrote all these books to each other 100 years ago, and in these books they talk about targeting people who are certain, because the more certain you are, the more vulnerable you are to propaganda, because you think you can't be fooled. They talk about using extreme emotions. They talk about all of the tactics that we see now and we've seen throughout history that we can recognize intellectually, but when it strikes something in us, that we come to a belief ourselves, even if maybe it was pre-intended. And that's called resonance in the propaganda literature, where the goal, like the perfect propaganda, is to create resonance in the target, which is you have something that you want to accomplish, and the people probably wouldn't go along with it because it's maybe not in their best interest, or maybe they don't like war, whatever it is. So what the campaign strives to do is to create what they describe as resonance within people, to where they have an epiphany and they go, "Oh my God, we do have to kill all the Muslims," or whatever the propaganda is.
Yeah.
And so that way it becomes strong within them, because they've created this environment where they came up with it themselves, the idea themselves. And so that's a tough thing, because people do have ideas and connect things, and to see just people talk about 5D chess and whatever. Some of these people, they have psychological studies, and I don't think they're like a monolith or super smart. I think they're retarded, honestly. And I think they're kind of out of touch. I just think that any of us, if we're not, like you said earlier, having that break in between action and thought, we're susceptible to being pulled in any direction, because we're emotional beings. You know, we're all Captain Kirk. We're not. We need a little more Spock.
Yeah, this is true. Yes. Yeah, I think it might have been, was it Bernays that said the frame itself is more powerful than the story, or something like that? Like when
I'm
you're,
not sure.
it might have been him or somebody else, but yeah, there's this quote that's like, when you're telling a story, it's the frame itself that matters more, because of the way
Absolutely.
it's framed. And I mean, that's like the ultimate form of manipulation, is manipulating someone so much that they think that they came up with the idea.
Yeah. And it's like, if it says a book called The Art of the Big Con, which I recommend everybody reading. It's about these gang of traveling con artists from like the late 1800s. This guy traveled with them, and he created a lexicon for all their tactics. And they would go to towns, and they would have one really rich mark involved. They'd send somebody out to handle them, and they'd take over this town. They get the police and the politicians in the small town involved, and then they'd lease a building, and they'd create a fake horse racing venue. It's all fake. And everybody in there is like pretending, and the cops are in on it because this guy's so rich, and he's so like, I want to win big because I have a bunch of money, and nothing thrills me except risking it. And so they'd bring him down, and he'd go into this environment thinking he's in. Look at all the action in here. It's literally all fake. And they make him think he's going to win, and they take him, but not for all he's worth, because they want to use him again. They want to send him away not knowing. Yeah. And I tell people, I'm like, read that book. It's interesting, and then kind of apply that to politicians. And I don't say that in like a black pill way. I say that in a way where it's kind of freeing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the structures that have been built by propaganda psychologically makes people think that they can't do something unless it follows this checkbox of things, and they're not worth something unless it meets these standards. When you realize that a lot of that is bullshit designed to prop up people who are in power and keep people down who have a lot of potential, then you realize you can actually do anything. You can just do shit. You can just do shit, and you discover that everybody's full of shit. Yeah, really, they're just confidently full of shit is what everybody is. And if you just get a little more confidence in yourself in it, and then just say, yeah, I'm going to do this shit, then they don't know what to do. And so when people get like, oh, sad about it, I'm like, no, just fucking freeing to recognize the con that's going on. And so you had some examples too, not to jump subjects a lot. I do want to show you this clip of Brené's in a second.
Okay.
But so you had some examples of like, you were talking about the compare and contrast of the way that stories are told.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of why I started that whole like segment. Totally unbiased news. We're totally unbiased, even though every news station has some bias. Yeah, just because to me it's funny. I think it's healthy to laugh at these things instead of getting stressed about it.
You think you just scream at your best friends and family?
I think it's funny to laugh how you can have the exact same story presented in two completely different ways.
It's crazy.
And to me, it's funny to just see how they're spinning the story to fit their narrative.
Yeah, so let's look at CNN and Fox News to that point, because you had mentioned one of the stories, which there's the immigration thing going on right now.
Yeah.
Which is a very volatile story.
Yes.
And, we can talk about all the processing of that and all that at another time, but just to see the difference in headlines of the way this stuff is portrayed. It's two different, it's two separate caves, So people aren't even in the same cave. They're seeing different realities, which causes them to really conflict with each other when they're that committed.
Right.
I put this on screen for everybody.
Yeah, and to your point, it is freeing. I agree with you. It's when you can kind of identify like, oh, if you find out someone lied to you, instead of being like sad or angry or like depressed about it, oh, the government's been lying to me, it's freeing. It's sort of like that moment, if you've ever seen The Truman Show, at the very end, and he realizes like his whole reality was controlled and everything.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk show.
the Truman Show.
Sorry, that's what Davis calls it.
And then Jim Carrey, I like this one line. He says, "There was never a camera in my head." And I think that's kind of profound because,
it's a great movie.
Well, that specific moment, I think, touched me because even though I feel like I don't have a lot of control over anything outside of myself, I can control what happens within my own mind. And I can find freedom within my own mind. And that's where we can find freedom.
And there's freedoms in the actions you take that are in front of you.
Yeah.
What a lot of the propaganda is demoralization propaganda, where people think they're up against a big apparatus and they have to take down a whole deep state or some evil thing, which is just, it's not the reality of it.
Yeah.
These are all human beings. Some people say they're lizards, maybe. But the best advice I ever got for auditioning was the guy who started Whole World. I don't know why his name slips my mind right now, but he was doing a workshop, week-long workshop at Improv years ago at a Relapse.
Was it Ryan Stadler?
No.
Did he start? I don't know who started Whole World.
No. I his name will come to me second. It's one of Bob's buddies. But he said, he was like, you just got to go into auditions and you got to look at those people on the other side of the table who you're seeking approval from. And you just got to have the mindset of they're all fucking pussies. They're fucking pussies and they need your approval. And that's, in that context, that's great advice. Because when you're trying to win an audition, you have this kind of like, some actors, a desperation that will immediately eliminate them. But if you think about it that way, and you just focus on your job of just doing an audition for this role, which is what your job is as an actor, then it's freeing the lack of concern about what they're, and you for me, applying that advice, it helped me book a number of roles. And so I think of people in power the same way.
Yeah.
Is they're a bunch of fucking pussies. They're fighting with each other. They're just pretending better than other people. And they have a basis of money.
They're all just actors.
Absolutely. And that's not to say that should be said to anybody. Like I always try, like, you should treat people with respect and have fun, but it's like nobody's better than anybody else, and everybody has potential within them for greatness. If they're able to pursue it, people just feel like they can't pursue it. And that's what the shadows on the wall do, because they give these stereotypes and these patterns that people feel like they should follow. Yeah,
the shadows themselves are disempowering and tell us, okay, I'm not capable of being the president, or I'm not capable of being a politician, or I'm not capable of living the life I want to live because of X, Y, and Z or whatever.
Right. They're
But
not strong enough, not good looking enough, not those are external
and
standards.
those are zombie lies that we're told to keep us feeling small.
Absolutely.
Instead of when we can remind ourselves that anybody who's in a position of power, that's an illusion. That
And they had to have gay sex to get there.
they probably did. Like, imagine all the cocks they had to suck to get there. Like, that's no, but yeah, they're just
A
human.
lot of them. I mean, I try not to imagine it because there's so many.
They're just human beings, right?
Right.
Like Trump. I mean, maybe he's a lizard person. Maybe, but
And a
he's
little lizard and a little lizard.
but he's probably just a human being. So that doesn't make him any better or worse than us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
I mean, in that way, like they're all just anyone in power is just another human being, just like us.
And the difference in many of them is that they know that their shadow is being projected on the wall. At least one of the caves. Maybe they're in another cave they don't realize, but they're projecting the shadows on the wall from the media.
Well, yeah, because they know.
Exactly.
Yes, so they know they're living a lie. They know that they're deceiving people. So they don't want to be found out.
No.
So in that sense, we have power over them.
Yeah.
If we're onto them, you know.
Yeah. Well,
we
exactly.
we become a threat.
And that's why they like silence people and shit like online. I think they create this reality through all this stuff they project through the media, through the social medias, and the politicians, and that becomes the walls of the cave, and people operate within those standards, those that are created, and these people pulling the strings act like they do, but they never intend to operate by the same rules, which enables them to do shit that nobody. You tell people, no, these people are con artists, just like a con artist you might meet on the street, and they won't believe you because they would never do that. Because they grew up in these shadows of ways to operate, and they could never conceptualize somebody just willingly being so deceptive. And that's how you can get away with that.
Yeah, because it's being naive. You know, a good person thinks everyone's a good person. Like, you know, if like I would never do that, so why would they? Because I wouldn't lie to someone. Like, I wouldn't go to all these extremes.
Totally,
to like,
because they're a good person. And,
yeah. A thief thinks everyone steals. A liar thinks everyone lies.
That's like the toughest thing about that kind of con game is what their skill is appearing to be authentic to people.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and connecting with them. They're very good at it.
Right.
And most people are good people, and they exploit the goodness of people for their ends. And so nobody wants to be the guy who says, like if somebody says, I'm sorry, I can't run for president as a libertarian because my kid's sick. Nobody wants to be like, you just convinced everybody to donate all their money and create a whole apparatus around you for the past 2 years. Let me see your kid's medical record. This is atrocity propaganda. Nobody wants to be that asshole.
Yeah.
And there's books on atrocity propaganda. There's a book called Falsehoods in Wartime. It's written like 1920. It just goes through all the stuff that the different countries made up completely.
Like completely fabrications.
Completely. And
okay.
Bernays like writes about recycling stories, and he boasts in the book called Public Relations from 1960, on page 75. I remember that.
Wow.
He boasts. I've read a lot of his work.
It's very specific.
He talks about how crazy the public went about some of our like boasting about it, and I talk about that on my show because I'm just like, look, they're just bullshitters at a bar with money. You know, the guy you met at a bar is full of shit, and you halfway believe him, you halfway don't, but they're using it against you. Let's look at these headlines.
Okay.
I could seriously ramble about this stuff for like 8 hours, so I don't want to keep you for too long.
Yeah.
So here, just on the headline of CNN, that's a good comment. The secret of success is sincerity. So bogus. Once you can fake that, you got it made. George Burns. Is that a George Burns quote? I love George Burns.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like once you can fake sincerity, you can get anyone to trust you, which is sad but true. Yeah. Very, very
what makes
true.
me optimistic is they obviously tried to do that. They had these World Economic Forum meetings about how they lost trust from the people during the pandemic because people are like, you're trying to force us to do things, and it got out of control, and people went to alternative media, and they had 4 straight years, including 5 straight, including this year, of how do we win back trust? How do we disrupt the authenticity and trust thing. And then that's why you see the Chris Cuomo's and you see the Tucker Carlson's go get
Pretending
their
to be in
fucking
their
basement. I got fired. I was telling too much truth and I got fired. And here I am in a sweater in my fucking basement.
My fake garage.
I got technical problems just like you, podcasters.
They're like messing up their hair.
It's totally true. That's what they
Like,
fucking do.
Making it look like more relatable. Like now you can relate to
Absolutely.
me, right? Because I'm in a garage. I live here.
I mean,
This is
that's like totally what like Joy Reid from MS Now. It's called MS
Joy
Now.
Reid.
She went and started doing a podcast in her basement, and she's like, "I'm everybody's racist. I'm oppressed." And then like 3 people handed her coffee off screen. I'm like, "Bitch, we ain't got no people handing us coffee off screen." And it's like, and they all do this thing where they get fired so they can say, "I was speaking too much truth, and so I had to come be independent." And so then they try to like discredit. You know, they tried to discredit the term conspiracy theory after the Kennedy assassination. There's the CIA declassified document. They're doing that right now so they can swing trust back to these fake fucking dumbass podcasters.
Let me ask you really quick. So you said something interesting. You said most people are good people. So I'm curious now, like, how did you arrive at that conclusion?
So, you know, I guess I can't prove it, but from my experiences, even people that I have had, so I know somebody who is they grew up on the streets being a con artist.
Okay.
And I had never met someone like that before in my life. It was in my 20s, it was at Relapse that I met them. And I was taken in by her, as were many others. And I liked her. As like she was not like romantically, but she was like a friend, and then she started dating one of my friends, and then I started noticing things that, you know, you would kind of brush off for most people because everybody's a little full of shit. But then I started noticing things that she was saying to him that were clearly designed to get him to do stuff for her, to like, and they were like stuff that I knew that weren't true. And then it became really blown out of proportion. Like I was a muse for 500 Days of Summer. It was about me. I donated $1 million, like this and that. And my friend,
That movie was based on me.
and she got everybody to go see it with her. Everybody
all
go see it.
based on
And
me.
people, because she said that and they believed her.
Oh, gosh.
People would be watching the movie. I was there, and they'd look at it and they go, "That's you. It's totally you." It's that priming. It's that agenda setting theory of the media, where they set the frame, they set the tone, and they decide the topic.
Yeah.
And that's the shadow. And so this girl, and the reason I don't have any animosity towards her is because that's how she learned to survive.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that at the time, but once I realized that she was doing that, I discovered that it was difficult to inform people. My friend was dating her. It was difficult to say.
At that point.
So I would ask questions that would kind of expose certain like there was a photographer who took my headshot who lived near my friend, and I said something to my friend about that photographer, and she goes, "I hate that guy," and I was like, Lou Freeman's a girl. And she goes, "Oh, well, no, I know one's a guy." And I said, "So, you know," because I had described, she's a photographer who took Evander Holyfield, his headshot, Mike Tyson, it's all on her wall. "You also know Lou Freeman, who has Evander Holyfield's headshot, Mike Tyson on the wall." She goes, "Yeah." "Are you saying I'm lying?" She did Candace, is what she did. She did Candace. And so my friend, because he was, and I probably would have been the same, because if I were in his situation, he didn't want to embrace the cognitive dissonance. And much later, once she kind of, this is what happens with con artists, they're exposed and they go to another town.
Yeah.
At the low level. At the high level, you're in a suit and you have the levers of power. And so that's why my standard has become, it's not like, I don't hate anybody. I've never hated anybody in my life. You can hate what people do, but I look at anybody who has a level of influence as someone that I'm going to start with healthy distrust. I'm not going to be mean. I'll be cool. You can gain my trust, but I'm always going to analyze the content, and I'm going to assume if you have a huge following or if you're a politician that you are going to be using similar deceptive tactics. And when I say that all people are good people, it's because I don't think even people who might be con artists are doing it because they are trying to be bad people to others. I think they're doing it to survive. Now, for those in power, I think they probably see people as cattle, some of them. But most people I've encountered, even people I've had like the worst fights with, I can understand, why they're mad at me. And I don't think ill of them. So what about you? What do you think of humanity?
I mean, I go back and forth, honestly. Some days I'm like, I'm losing so much hope for humanity. I'm going to hang on to the people in my life that I care about and that I think aren't complete selfish jerks. I'm going to hang on to them, and then everyone else I'm just going to stay away from. But then I have days where I'm like, okay, I see there's hope here. And I'd like to believe that any lies that we're told will eventually be revealed. I'd like to believe like any lie eventually comes, like the truth eventually will come out. So that's something I'm kind of hopeful about, because usually,
like Lindsey Graham, he'll eventually come out.
But usually in life, in my experience, anytime I've been in a situation where someone's lied or someone's tried to con someone, eventually the truth is revealed. So that's what I'm hoping will happen with everything,
It does seem to be that way. What they can do now is they can kind of flush people's brains with the amount of media they get, and the people forget very quickly.
Yeah.
And they can repurpose people, put a sweater on them. I tease this. So here's CNN. The headline on CNN, and we didn't do any prep for this. We're just looking at this live.
Watching it, yeah.
New video shows clash between Preddy and agents over a week before he was killed. So I haven't read that story, but I am familiar with what they're referencing.
Yeah.
Which is that he had gotten tackled. He was like a professional activist, is what he was. An agitator, kind of.
Yeah.
Not kind of. That's what he was.
Well, it's interesting because some people call him a protester. Other people call him an agitator.
And that's exactly right. And so that's what.
So what is he? Is he a protester or is he an agitator?
And that's where you shift to the protagonist and the villain is.
Yeah.
He's the protagonist if he is the protester. If he's an agitator, he's the villain.
Yeah.
And that's how it's portrayed.
Yeah.
And so now here's Fox News. Let me switch to that one. Yeah. Okay. Allow. What the fuck? No, sorry. I just
video appears to show.
Yeah, it'll be here in a second. It's not. There we go.
Oh, so is this actual footage from?
This must be the prior clients are also reporting on that on Fox. Yes, it must be. Yeah. So that's
from
it.
the previous time he had that altercation.
Yeah, so Fox is showing it where he's kicking a car and spitting on it.
Oh.
Now I'm sure there's more to that video.
Yeah.
Right. So like something like that.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier about the Socratic method. I see something like that, and so my inclination, because I've infiltrated some of these activist groups. I have gone to their trainings, and I am well aware that they do organize and they do tell people we need to see people getting pulled out of wheelchairs by police officers on the steps of the Capitol so we can photograph it and blast it on every major newspaper so that it can look like. So they train them to go cause conflict for the purpose of media exposure. And this the background of him, which now it's crazy that I can't even kind of talk about what I've talked about for like 5 years about this, because now the right wing is talking about it, so it's discredited to the left wing. Even though I've been fucking pointing this shit out for years. It's actually true. That doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that is something that goes on.
Yeah.
But even knowing that, seeing this, I know there's more to this video.
Yeah. I
right?
mean, that's like what? 1, 2, that's like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like.
But all of the right wingers I know will just be seeing this.
Yeah, because that's what's going to populate on their algorithm, because that's their confirmation bias. Yeah, so obviously they're going to see this.
Yeah, no, and so bogus says, if anything, that shows the motive that cops wanting to fuck him up. But yeah, that's possible too. I like the cops on the side of it. I think they're hiring people that aren't experienced. I think everybody in this situation, like this guy and these protesters, have itchy trigger fingers. That they're worried. They're convinced the cops are going to kill them, which that reality has manifested, and the cops are convinced that the protesters or agitators are going to kill them.
Yeah.
So it manifests that reality, and you see the emails, like the information that these people get comes strictly from the activist emails, which starts off by, it's a dark day in democracy and dictatorship is running wild. So everything they get is telling them that they must put their bodies on the line.
Yeah.
But the organizers never do that. The organizers make money and they rise politically. And on the ICE side of it, it's just like, Are you homeless and need some shit to do? It's just all it's all ginned up by these people who don't put their bodies on the line so they can benefit politically, in my opinion. And I hate all of it personally. I just know that both sides, like here, they're not telling. Like the headline video appears to show Alex Preddy spitting at a federal agent before damaging the SUV. So does that mean he should be killed? That headline?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely makes him look more like a villain. Yeah, because he's not just standing peacefully to the side holding a sign. He's doing something aggressive, something antagonistic. So yeah, it's easy to look at that and be like, oh, well, he's definitely an agitator. He's not just a peaceful protester. And yeah, maybe he was put up to it. Maybe people actually organize. Maybe he's part of this Discord group that like.
Yeah, so that's what's crazy is that it gets so, the line's like so blurred.
Yeah.
And those in power rely on conflict because if people weren't afraid and they felt empowered, you wouldn't need government.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need them come in. I get the solution, whatever side you're on.
Yeah.
You would feel like you could do it yourself. And I want to respond to Raul. So I did see your comment last night, Raul Meat Herd. He says, Brad, I never heard anything like what you described at activist workshops ever. It's always been about de-escalation. And I'm sure that so I've been to some that have also been about de-escalation. I should say that as well. I've seen both of them. And when I say, because you had commented last night that, and I love Raw Meat. Like we love each other. But it's cool. I invite, we can disagree and be cool about it and not get butthurt. And you had mentioned how because I've been trying, kind of grappling the way of communicating about how I don't protest, and I'm not telling people not to protest. I'm just saying that the protests that I see that get attention, like January 6th, I told people not to go to. I told them they'd be arrested. They're setups by people who are in power to throw people under the bus. I'm not saying you shouldn't question your government. I'm not saying you shouldn't make your voice heard. Absolutely. I'm just saying the AstroTurf things that we see online that get all this attention, when you trace it back to some of these organizers, it's like the Stacey Abrams of the world. It's the the Steve Bannons of the world. It's people spinning people up and telling them to go put themselves in harm's way when they never would. And I've met a lot of really good people at protest. I have. They might have thought I had a white dude's for hair shirt on usually, so they were cool with me. But I'm not saying everybody's like that, and I don't want it to come off that way. I'm very, very skeptical when it comes to things that kind of bubble up quickly, and I just say it to give people a heads up. I'm never telling anybody not to go speak their. I'm just saying, keep your eyes open.
I mean, do you think people should actually just be more educated about what is a lawful protest versus what is an unlawful interference with a government? I mean, do you think people should just be more educated about that? Because I don't know. It's like,
I mean, that's a great point.
One side is calling Alex Preddy a peaceful protester, or he was defending a woman who got shoved or whatever, and then another side sees as no, he was interfering with a federal operation, and when But
what's the law? So the ignorance of the law, they exploit that. Now I don't know the law around that, but yeah, that's exactly right. And they do that all the time. Is they exploit that ignorance. And this headline here, I hate Fox News. Like I don't like any of them. But Fox News is so. I think I probably hate it because they take points of view that have a kernel of truth, and they blow them out of proportion, and they discredit them.
Well, that's the best way to manipulate someone is with half-truths, partial truths, not a complete blatant lie, but with a partial truth. And so what they do is they take something that is somewhat true, and then they use that to convince people of their narrative or whatever. Yeah?
Yeah. Like this headline here, what relevant? So it shows a background of him doing stuff, but the fact that he spit on it.
Yeah. What was the moment before what was
Yeah.
all of the moments before this moment and what happened after. Like we only see it's like sound bites. Like we get these short little clips. And so much can be taken out of context.
And the White House at first is like, they were trying to massacre everybody there. It's like, come on, why does everybody have to go?
Yeah.
They were trying to kill them all. I hate it. I just, you find that when you talk to people one-on-one, even when you disagree with them, they're cool. Mostly.
Yeah. When you're talking to someone face to face, especially, they have a different temperament than when you're talking online.
Absolutely.
That's pretty interesting.
They're different. They become another motherfucker online is what they do.
Yeah.
You had an interesting take on Ukraine too. We'll get out of here shortly after this. what just the way it was reported, just to illustrate just the different movies there.
Yeah, I mean, there's just different, one side, the way the stories are reported is what's funny to me. One side is focusing on all the suffering that's happening. Like, it's like this melodramatic, tragic
breaking
movie.
news, suffering happening across,
Yeah, it's all this melodrama. It's focused on the suffering aspects.
And meanwhile, the president's talking about his ballroom.
Right. And then you have like the other side just talking about the political strategy, talking about it like, no, this is actually a smart chess game.
Right.
So it's just
Messaging
the way
shit.
that they frame the same story in those two different ways is just kind of funny to me. Same story framed in two different ways. So
Absolutely. And yeah, the video is glitchy. I apologize for that up front.
Oh,
for new
Edward
listeners.
Bernays.
So this is a
On
Bernays.
Letterman.
Have you ever seen him on Letterman?
1985.
He's like 100 years old in this video.
What? Literally?
He lived to be like 100, almost 100.
Oh, wow.
And this is right before he died.
Okay.
And so this is one of the one of the more revealing clips of a propagandist who was at one of the most renowned in the world, just very obviously revealing what they do.
But he admits that he's
he loves it.
He's like happy.
He
It's not like
loves
he's
it.
pretending that
No,
he's
he
not.
doesn't.
Yeah.
You read his books. He would be coming in his grave if he knew about social media. And you can hear it. Put the headphones on there. Learned helplessness, Martin Seligman for sure. Got it. You hear that?
Emotionally, I won't tell that to anybody.
So now you won't tell your emotional age to anybody?
No. Will you tell yours?
Well, based on your statistics, I've passed on weeks ago.
I'll accept that.
It was a lovely service, and I'm sorry you couldn't be there, but... all right, now, doctor, tell me again what the doctor is. What are we dealing with?
Well,
You're the father of public
what we're
relations.
dealing with really is the concept that people will believe me more if you call me doctor.
Oh, I see. So,
Everybody laughs, but that's 100% the foundation of every book that he wrote.
Okay.
Is you pretend to be some position of authority.
Yeah.
People will believe it.
Yeah, if you say something confidently and confidence goes a really long way. Like I could walk into a club, without an ID confidently and just say, oh, I know them, I'm blah, blah, blah. And if I say it with a convincing, people believe,
Absolutely.
Same applies to politics and anything.
White lab coats.
Yeah. And it's all just a psychological kind of manipulation. If he acts like a doctor, if he walks like a duck, talks like a duck, acts like a duck.
Yeah. He's got a stethoscope.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's a duck, though.
Yeah, you don't
We
let
have to question. We have to ask. Maybe
right.
it's a swan in a disguise.
And you don't want a swan doing a physical on you. Swans are disgusting. So what would your recommendation? Well, let's take a step back. I think for me that I'm more out of the cave than some people. I think people listening to the show are more out of the cave than some people. I'm not under any illusion that I'm completely out of the cave. What would you say lets you know if maybe you're still locked in like one of the lower levels of the cave? And what recommendations would you make, whether it's books or yoga or whatever, to if people are interested in not being captured by emotional triggers? Because I know that sometimes I am, and I know friends of mine are, and I think awareness of that is good. But what are your thoughts on that, and how can people help themselves?
Okay, so signs that you might be in the lower levels of the cave are probably that you only want to read news stories that confirm your beliefs. And if someone challenges your beliefs, you have a very emotionally charged reaction. You're not open to the possibility that you might be a little off.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe that means you're in the lower levels of the cave. And for anybody just struggling with like trying to figure things out and just feeling overwhelmed with stress and anxiety about how to process all of this information, is like, how do I think critically? Like I said before, I'm a nutrition coach, so I'm a little biased. I think that like eating healthy helps us have healthy brains and helps us kind of think clearly and critically and rationally. So eating healthy, I'm a huge advocate. And eating healthy is hard. And that's a whole other can of worms. Because
you eat cans of worms?
Yes, eat lots of cans of worms. As long as you find the can that says Yoga Flow with Kim Health Coach on them, I'm selling the cans of worms.
Tallow flavored only.
This is me being a grifter. So you can find the cans of worms in the link in the description.
15% off.
No, so trying to eat healthy is really, really hard, because even if you're eating produce, the way produce is farmed, especially in the U.S., genetically modified with pesticides and all of this stuff, it's really, really hard to eat healthy. I say buy your produce from local farmers. Get to know your local farmers, like personally, and ask them what their methods are. And if they sound like they're eating organic or they're growing things, ask where do they get their seeds? So it all starts with how are we even growing the food, right?
Yeah.
So it's really hard to eat healthy. But balance.
Why is it hard to eat healthy? Because it is.
Well, because especially in the U.S., all processed food is manufactured to be addictive. Sugar sugar is addictive. There's an organism in our body that feeds us off of sugar. Sugar is one of the most leading causes of all diseases, and stress. Stress is one of the leading causes of all diseases. So if we can eliminate stress by practicing yoga, meditation, things like that, and if we can avoid high fructose corn syrup and other types of sugars that we actually think are healthy that aren't necessarily, it's tough.
So sugars are one of the worst for you, right?
Well, the type of sugar, like high fructose corn syrup is probably the worst. But you can have too much of cane sugar too. Unrefined sugar.
The devil's sugar?
Any refined sugars, you just want to avoid all the refined sugars. Avoid fast food, avoid processed food. If you can, buy your produce from local farmers. And a good rule of thumb I always say is like a rainbow of colors on your plate. It's just more produce, more raw.
Yeah. So it's like a gay flag of nutrition.
Yes. If your plate looks like it's homosexual, then you're probably eating healthy. But I mean, it's a complicated question because everybody's different too. What's really healthy for me might not be healthy for you. What's really healthy for Tom, Dick, and Harry might not be healthy for me. So it's like you have to look at everyone individually, their genetics, their health history, and it's a very complicated question. So you can't.
And I think that a lot of people don't, because it's not something we were told, a food group thing. Like the pyramid, which I think is like not even. I think it's like
it like totally flipped now, and
And we're not hunters and gatherers. We didn't learn how to live off the land. We are Kroger's and Publix's is what we do, and we don't. I go in there and I'm like I don't know. It's all branded to say green and natural. I'm like, well, that seems good. Is that? But it's I think it's unfortunate that they have the targeting to manipulate the language to make it more difficult.
Yeah. I mean, that's also a whole other, it's just like trying to understand politics is almost like trying to understand nutrition.
What about garlic water? Somebody asked about garlic water.
Garlic water. Hey, if you want to kill a vampire, I heard
Proper
that's the
hydration.
way to do it. Garlic water. Yeah. No, garlic can be really good for fighting inflammation, viruses, bacteria, as long as you don't have.
What about AIDS? Is that what Magic Johnson did? He drank a lot of garlic water?
Yeah. Garlic water is the cure for AIDS.
Yeah.
And it's a cure for a broken heart,
Yes,
and it'll make you rich.
Right. Yeah.
I'm selling garlic water, by the
$15
way.
a bottle. Discount code. What about stress? You mentioned stress with yoga.
Yeah.
What ways can yoga help people relieve? Because people have so many different causes of stress that are things they can't control.
Mhm.
So how do you help people with yoga kind of like free themselves from that?
Yeah, so there's very simple tools, very simple yet very effective. Starting with stillness, just closing your eyes and allowing yourself, even if it's just 3 minutes. 3 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
People make all these excuses. So when I first got into meditation, I was a little apprehensive and skeptical. I'm skeptical about everything, yeah? So I was like, okay, it could just be a bunch of self-indulgent BS meditation because you're just sitting there. What are you accomplishing, really? Yeah? Is it just self-indulgent nonsense? And I can see how you could think of it that way if you've never experienced it. But if you give it a try, I recommend just try it, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You have 3 minutes.
Right.
Take a moment, sit still, close your eyes, and just start by observing how your breath is naturally. A lot of times with stress causes us to have a lot of shallow breathing. Yeah. So if we're like looking online at some headline or something we think, some injustice that our social media is feeding us, so we get angry about it. Yeah. We're feeling angry. We pause, close our eyes, notice how we're breathing. And if we're taking these quick, fast, shallow breaths, start consciously slowing down your breath. It's very, very simple, but so powerful. Consciously slowing down your breath.
Yeah.
Even counting the seconds of your breath.
Yeah.
Inhaling to 5, holding for 4, exhaling to 7, holding for 4. Lengthening your exhales, what that does is it resets your nervous system. So it puts your brain and your body out of fight and flight mode and into rest, digest, and repair mode. So the more you practice stillness, conscious breathing, just counting the seconds of your breath, and see if you can bring all your attention, all your awareness to counting the seconds of your breath. And just taking a break from thoughts will come. Like, we're always going to think. That's what makes us human, right? So it's not about, people think of meditation as like, oh, we're emptying our mind. No, not necessarily. It's really more about observing your thoughts without judging your thoughts, which is difficult.
Because that could make people feel guilty. Yeah, absolutely.
Observing your thoughts without judging your thoughts, without attaching any stories or any narratives to your thoughts, and without identifying with your thoughts. Just simply observing your thoughts like clouds, like passing by. And then gently, it's almost like you're putting your thought on a shelf for now, then gently bring all your attention, all your awareness back to counting the seconds of your breath.
Yeah.
If you do that for like 3 to 5 minutes, that practice alone can really help just...
Can you do that is the question I would challenge people to, like, to doing that. To taking those like 3 minutes you said.
Do you think you could do it?
I do. I haven't in a long time, but with improv, Bob at Relapse years ago, our group, he would do, it was similar to that in that, because to do improv, you got to be in the moment. To do a show, you can't be bogged down by all this shit. And you come in, everybody's got their days and whatever's going on. And it was kind of like you described there. It's like you got to take a breath. You got to recognize your breath. You got to recognize the reality around you. Because if you look around the same room, you've been to 100 times, but if you really focus on the moment, you'll notice a million different things about that room you never saw before. And so doing those exercises, really, I would have said yoga's gay before then. But we would do some of those exercises, and I was like, I feel so much better, and I feel so much more focused. And I would try to do that every day when I woke up, but I haven't been consistent with it. And so I don't know if I could do it right now, honestly, because it is a challenge.
We could try it.
Yeah.
Live. See how well you do.
Yeah, I'll do the downward dog. It is a challenge. I would challenge anybody to do what Kim said.
It helps to
man.
have a guide. That's why it takes so much self-discipline to sit still, because we're so programmed. But that's part of, I think, what the higher, they want us to be running around like freaking out all the
deep
time.
state.
Yeah. So that's one way of sort of defeating them in your own mind. Yeah. So finding a sense of peace of mind. And also it helps you hold different opinions at once. So for me, for instance, like it helps me hold multiple perspectives at the same time, which I think it helps me have peace of mind about all of these confusing things going on in the world.
Right.
So
You can't do anything about that stuff in that moment.
in that moment, yeah.
But you can do something about what's in front of you.
Right. And I mean, taking self-responsibility for your health. If you're a healthy person and you can think clearly, you can make more informed, educated decisions, and that impacts how you interact with others. That impacts everything you do in the world, whatever your goals are, whatever your passions are. If you apply mindfulness and intention behind all of those things, it impacts your life in really helpful ways. So, but now I sound really preachy.
No,
so.
yeah, I agree with it, and it does. It sounds that way because it's difficult. We all want instant solutions. I like I said, I was not a yoga person until I started doing improv, and I discovered how much it really is beneficial, especially with all the shit in the world. Just getting away from your phone for a little while. I remember the first time I broke my first iPhone. It was like a Friday. It was at Relapse. I dropped it and it broke. And I really panicked for a minute. And then the next 3 days were the most liberating days I've had in 10 years. Because it's not that constant looking down. All of that stuff prevents that connection with the moment and reality.
Yeah.
And yoga, you know, from the times I've been able to do it and focus and do it, has helped me get away from that and into what you're describing, that moment.
Yeah. And I mean, it's very easy to become addicted to your cell phone. And it's sad to me, you know, if I'm out and about and I see like a couple, for instance, where they're just, I mean, they're on a date and they're just on their cell phones.
They're
Or
looking
like,
at their Tinder. They're on a date.
Yeah, or they're just like showing it. It's so hard.
It's like a yeah.
Yeah,
a
but
crutch,
it's I don't know. I feel like it's killing like real intimacy.
It really is. And it's tough too. I seriously, I'll pull my phone out, but put your phone down, man. Like stop. It's tough because we're like cyborgs.
Yeah.
At this point, Denver says, read a book, play guitar, exercise occasionally, increase oxygen to the brain and thus the blood. That can't hurt. No, absolutely not.
Those are all great things. Yes, finding some way to express yourself through art and music, and those are all like really healthy things.
Yeah, put a banana on the wall, sell it for $1 million, whatever. All right, guys, I would love to continue having this conversation. I've already kept you way too long. Tell everybody where you can find. They can find you. We already had somebody shared your one of your links in the chats here earlier.
Okay.
But yeah, just let them know how they can follow your work.
Cool. Yeah. So you can follow me on if you're interested in learning more about yoga, meditation, nutrition, or any of the other fitness classes I teach. You can follow me on yogaflowwithkim.online. That's my website. My YouTube is also Yoga Flow with Kim. It's all under the umbrella of yoga because yoga philosophy relates to like how we eat and how we interact with the world and all of that. Instagram, Yoga Flow with Kim. And then all of my film-related acting stuff, comedy stuff, all that stuff. Instagram is just Kim_Ham22. And then my other YouTube is Kimberly Hamilton Actress. I post movie reviews on there too. I do a lot of different things. So yeah.
Check out her work if you're tired of kind of the same opinions that you hear from people in the entertainment industry. Check out Kim's work. It's refreshing and smart, funny, and does great work. Kim, do you have 5 more minutes to go through a smoking gun story to close off the show?
Yeah, I've heard of the Smoking Gun website, and I haven't actually looked at it much, so I'm excited to check out one of these. These are usually like ridiculous
They're
stories.
ridiculous from like Florida man. Because they can reveal the affidavits in Florida, so that's why it's typically Florida.
Okay.
But so the most popular here, and we usually just pick one, is we have great guest, great show. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Blast Off. Thank you, thank you, Raw Meat Herd, and thank you for the open conversation and the feedback on. Like, I appreciate you being able to have a cool conversation about things when we find disagreements. Thank you. So, Chuck E. Cheese gets plea deal in felony case is most popular. Number 2 is Florida man 51 busted with sexual performance with a vacuum cleaner.
Oh, gosh.
Number 3 is girl jailed for pork chop attack on mother. Interesting. Number 4 is cops, collegians ID'd and Ole Miss harass probe. And then dead reverend's rubber fetish. What do you think? What do you guys think in the chat? And Kim, what's your instinct?
Dead Reverend's rubber fetish.
That one kind of stands out to me, too.
My favorite.
Any rubber fetish is going to stand out to me. All right, let's do that one.
Because I want to know more about this. What kind of
Is that him right there
rubber?
in the photo? Yeah. Yeah, what kind of rubber are we talking here? It's just all right, October 8th, an Alabama minister who died in June of accidental mechanical asphyxia, was found hogtied and wearing 2 complete wetsuits, including a face mask, diving gloves and slippers, rubberized underwear, and a head mask, according to the autopsy report. I have to say, if I'm going to go out, I don't want it to be in a rubberized underwear, a head mask, diving gloves, and slippers. That's not the way I want to go out. Investigators determined that Reverend Gary Aldridge's death was not caused by foul play, and the 51-year-old pastor of Montgomery's Thorington Road Baptist Church was alone in his home at the time that he died, while apparently in the midst of some autoasphyxic, undertaking. While the Montgomery Advisor, which first obtained the autopsy records, reported Aldridge's 2 wetsuits. 2 wetsuits is interesting. The family newspaper chose not to mention what police discovered inside the minister's rubber briefs. Aldridge served as the church's pastor for 16 years. Immediately following his death, church officials issued a press release asking community members not to wear rubbers. That's not what they said. Asking community members to please refrain from speculation about what led to his demise, adding that we will begin the healing process under the strong arm of our Savior. So I want to say that I hope he had a good sense of humor. And somewhere he wrote, "Look, if I go out in 2 rubber suits, you can laugh about it."
Yeah,
I hope he said that.
I hope so too. Wow, what a way to go! I mean, if you're gonna go like that, you might as well go out with a bang.
I feel like you're taking a chance anytime you get into choking off the oxygen with some sexual fetish.
Yeah, I mean, you got to ask yourself: is this really worth risking my life over this temporary pleasure?
It's that good.
Is it that?
People must be like, it is fucking good if he's willing to
You'd
die
rather
for
die?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to go home and don't try it. I'm not saying to try it. I just wish that I hope there's a note somewhere where he explains the 2 pairs of rubberized underwear.
Yeah. Like, what is rubberized underwear? Like, what?
Where did you get this? This is a mystery. This is a movie.
Did he create it? I wonder if he, like, made it himself.
This thing. He invented it.
Crafted it himself.
He was creating the perfect erotic asphyxiation device.
Oh, he was hoping to go down in history with like the first ever like
double rubberized.
You know, I'm surprised somebody hasn't already created like a type of erotic asphyxiation that won't kill. Like, guaranteed not to kill you.
Haven't we come far enough with technology?
You would think
solve this problem.
You would think that exists,
Can
right?
I choke myself and whack off without dying?
Why hasn't that been invented?
I think we have a product opportunity.
I'm gonna figure it out. Should I?
I feel sorry for the congregation here, though.
Yeah.
Where it's like you've told all this guy, and he's not Catholic, but
right.
The Reverend came over and he guided me through my most difficult times, and then I found out he was jerking off and choking himself in double rubberized underwear. It's gotta be.
I mean, that's basically like coming out of the cave. You know, it's like you had this vision.
That's what's outside the cave.
You had this like
everybody's just whacking off and choking themselves.
That's like reality. No, but like you had this vision of your reverend, and you're like, that's the vision. That's the like when you're in the cave, you come out of the cave, and then you see the light. You see Reverend just jerking off. That's what's really out of the cave.
Like before, it's like, how would you just? What's the definition of a reverend? No, he's holy. He's pure.
Yeah.
He's great advice. Afterwards, it's like he jerks off. He wears rubberized double underwear.
That's the reality. So that's like the most important thing to discover when you come out of the cave.
No, go ahead.
You're not out of the cave until you've seen a reverend
jerk off to near death or possible death.
Yes.
G Talent says his happy ending wasn't that happy. It wasn't. But
I mean, if
is that how he enters heaven?
We don't know though. I mean, maybe he went off to a happier place.
That's true. And I want to say, even though we're making light of it, every person on the planet has some sort of weird thing about them. So I don't know. Maybe
we all have
that weird.
We all have our quirks. You know,
Yeah.
some people are into balloon popping. Some
Right,
people are into dolphins.
Right. Some people like to have their family get raped by dolphins at SeaWorld. Dolphins are sick fucks, guys. They're worse than I thought. They rape their mothers. They're awful. Stop taking your families to SeaWorld, okay?
They're actually like aliens, I think.
I blame David Cordine. Is what we got. So what do you think of priests? I've always thought that priests, I thought it'd be interesting if there was like some film where you just hear all the crazy things that priests have heard.
Yeah, like a whole film where it's from the perspective of the priest, and you hear all the confessionals.
He's got rubberized underwear on.
Yeah, and he's sitting there in rubberized underwear.
He's choking himself. Tell me more.
That's how the movie ends. Yeah. So the movie ends.
Yes,
The movie ends where
exactly.
you can't see anything, like from like waist up, right?
Right.
And you're hearing all these confessions, and like you're misled to think that he's like this holy person that's like really listening and really compassionate. And then at the very end, the camera pans down. You see what he's really doing.
You're right. He's going to town. That you know, whatever he called that Mary Mag. I don't know.
We should make that movie. You could play the priest.
Yeah, I've got plenty of rubberized underwear. I'll play the priest. All right, Kim, thank you for joining me. And sorry the video is glitchy, guys. I'm glad the audio was working. I appreciate the feedback and the comments. And you guys watching the show, propagandafight.com is the website. If you guys want to get access to the subscriber content that I do with Sam Tripoli and Austin Picard called Whatever This Is, you can get that at patreon.com/propaganda report, propreport.locals.com. And you leave a 5-star review that warms our heart.
Yeah, it would warm my heart.
It would warm our hearts. And don't tell us how the video is glitchy. We know the video is glitchy. We know. We already know. The video's jerking off. Is really bright. But thank you, guys. We're trying to up the production aspect of the show and bring in-studio guests and do cool things. So we appreciate the support. We couldn't do it without you guys. We will talk to you guys next time. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you again, Kim.
Thanks for having me.
We'll do it again.
Peace
Later,
out.
y'all.